Good day, and today we are looking at chapter 8 and we are looking at food safety. This topic falls under food and nutrition. So food safety is divided into 3 units. Unit 1 is for food spoilage, unit 2 is food hygiene and safety, and unit 3 is food storage. And we are going to look at unit number 1, which talks about food spoilage, and we are going to look at natural decay in food, microorganisms, and pathogenic microorganisms. Okay, so this is what we are going to cover under food safety. This is on page 126 in your textbook. Okay, so let's look at the next page. Well, okay, let's just check the did you know column quickly and we can go ahead. They say, did you know the Partnership of Food Safety Education is an organization founded in USA in 1977. They are dedicated to educate the public about safe food handling on all levels. Up to date, they have reached millions of people all over the globe. Their goal is to educate the public, including retailers and consumers, on 4 simple steps that can help reduce illnesses caused by infected food. You can find out more information on their website, which is www.fightback.org. Okay, I haven't seen their website, but they say it's what, fightback.org. Fight back.org. I don't know if I'll be able to see this. www. Yes, you see their website. It's the Partnership for Food Safety and Education. So at your own spare time, you can go to the site about food safety and you can just go through it and find out what is it about. You see, they tell you about food basics, causes and symptoms, how you prepare yourself, and yeah, they've got all sections related to food there. Okay, so now you know what is that organization called. It is called PFSE, Partnership for Food Safety Education. Okay, so let's start with food safety. I won't go into the questions that are here, the activity, but I will start straight on the first paragraph. Is a bacteria. Let's see. I don't want you to see skew. Yes. Bacteria are everywhere, but they are also small. They are so small that they can only be seen with a microscope. So you won't see bacteria with your own eyes, but they can only be seen through a microscope. Even if you cannot see them or taste them, they could still be present in large numbers. So if you eat food, you don't taste bacteria, you don't see bacteria, it does not mean that food doesn't have bacteria. Careless practices may result in serious sickness or food poisoning. Food, whether on domestic or commercial level, should always be handled and prepared hygienically. How to prevent the growth of microorganisms for commercial and domestic food. Let's look at how we can prevent this. The moment food is handled, whether in a home or commercially, it can be contaminated by microorganisms. Contamination happens through poor handling and storage practices and through lack of personal hygiene by the people who handle, prepare, and serve food. Guidelines for hygienic and safe handling of food are given in this chapter. and you will also find information on pages 49, 50, and 64. The same rules to prevent the growth of microorganisms apply, whether food is handled at home or in a commercial environment. This will be your restaurant, your big kitchen canteens. The Partnership for Food Safety Education sums it up in 4 simple steps. Okay, they are also teaching us those 4 simple steps. Okay, number 1, the first step. Let me just take it up a little bit. Okay, this is how far we can go. Okay, first one, keep everything scrupulously clean. Okay, keep everything scrupulously clean. This includes hands, clothes, working surfaces, equipment, utensils, serving tools, crockery, and cutlery, dishcloths, kitchen towels, and food. So everything must be kept clean. Separate so that you don't cross-contaminate. Keep raw and cooked food apart. So use one cutting board for raw meat, poultry, and seafood, and a separate one for fruits and vegetables. Be careful not to put food that may drip, such as raw poultry, close to the other food in the refrigerator. So your chicken must be separated from other food because it may drip, and if it has got contamination, the entire food will be contaminated. Don't keep food at lukewarm temperatures for longer than 2 hours because these are ideal temperatures for bacteria to multiply and survive. Number 4, cook it properly. Food is safely cooked when it reaches a high enough internal temperature to kill the harmful bacteria that cause foodborne illness. So if you cook the food properly, you are killing the bacteria. Use food thermometer to measure the internal temperature of cooked meat, poultry, and egg dishes to make sure that the food is cooked to a safe internal temperature. Okay, normally we don't use these internal temperatures unless we are cooking a turkey or a special meat, but it is always a great idea to use the temperature to check if the food is cooked to the proper internal temperature to kill any bacteria that might be there. And they say figure 8.1 shows us the main causes for the development of microorganisms. Okay, so let's see what are the causes. Number 1, food handlers with dirty hands, clothes, coughs, sneezes, they cause the development of microorganism in food. Lack of care in preparing, cooking, and storing food. That's the second cause. The third cause is exposure to pets, pests, and insects. Okay, so you see these are different: pets, pests, and insects. And the last one is the dirt in the food outlets, the kitchen, dishes, and equipment surfaces may cause the development of a microorganism. Very important to note these 4 causes that leads to the development of microorganisms. Okay, now let's look at food spoilage. We'll start with a natural decay. Food spoilage is a natural process in which food goes bad or decays over time. So if food is not used for a very long time, it will go bad, and we call that food spoilage. Perishable foods like fruit, meat, and milk contain a large amount of water and nutrients and spoil rapidly. Rapidly means faster. Processed and cooked foods such as canned, frozen, and dry foods can also spoil easily once opened, thawed, or reconstituted. We will look at the definition table and see what reconstituted means. Okay, means food that are less affected are those that contain low amounts of water or high concentration of salt, acid, or sugar. Natural decay can be caused by moisture loss, moisture absorption, enzymes, oxidation, or toxin in the food. Please know this. Natural decay can also be caused by moisture loss, moisture absorption, enzymes, oxidation, or toxins in the food. Now let's look at this different causes of natural decay. Moisture loss. Fruits and vegetables contain large amounts of water and feel crisp and firm when harvested. After harvesting, the cell juices evaporate through the leaves and skins. After harvesting, the cell juices evaporate through the leaves and skins. As the structure of the cell changes, the product becomes soft and withered. The surface of food such as cheese, meat, and fish will dry out when moisture evaporates from the surface. That what causes decay. Okay, that is moisture loss. The second one is absorption of moisture. Foods such as chips, biscuits, and rusk become soft when they absorb moisture from the air. If left in a damp atmosphere for some time, the food will turn moldy. Okay, which means the food will have mold. Okay, let me show you a picture of a mold and you see how it looks like. Okay, so you see now mold is caused by absorption of moist. Okay. Okay, now you see what the mold looks like. And enzymes as well can cause natural decay. Enzymes are chemicals that are found in natural food. Okay, so you know what are enzymes. Some characteristics of enzymes are as follows. Most enzymes only become active after the food has been harvested or slaughtered, if it's a cow, a sheep, or whatever. Once activated, this enzyme speed up the process of decay by breaking down the food. A typical example of enzymatic action is the browning of cut or braised fruit. For example, apples and bananas turn brown when enzymes in the food react with oxygen. So if you can leave a banana open, after some time it will be brown. That is because of the reaction of enzymes. Enzymes cause the undesirable changes in color and flavors, but they do not produce harmful substances, is it? Low temperatures will slow down the action of enzymes, but will not destroy them. Enzymes flourish at temperatures between 30 degrees Celsius and 50 degrees Celsius and are destroyed at temperatures above 60. So to prevent spoilage as a result of enzyme action, food should be heated to a temperature above 60 degrees Celsius. Okay, let's look at the keywords on our table. Perishable food is food that will go bad within 1 to 3 days. Reconstituted is when something is returned to its original form. Enzyme, we've already covered it. It's a chemical that speeds up the process of decay by breaking down the food. And for the enzyme to be more active, the temperature must be between 30 and 50 degrees Celsius. Above 60, you are killing them. And oxidation is the chemical reaction that takes place between food and the oxygen in the air. So if you leave the food open, let's look at oxidation in detail. Oxidation is a chemical reaction that takes place between food and oxygen in the air. The enzymes present in the plant and animal tissue promote oxidation. It affects the color and texture of certain foods. Oxidase enzymes destroy certain nutrients, especially vitamin C. Take note, oxidase enzymes, they destroy certain nutrients, especially vitamin C. You can prevent oxidation by destroying enzymes and by sealing food in airtight packages, okay? Or you can wrap your food with cling wrap just to make sure that you are preventing the reaction of that food and oxygen. And the fourth cause of natural decay, is it the fourth? It's the fifth one. Okay, it's natural toxin. Many food contain small amounts of natural occurring substances that could cause poisoning if eaten in excess. If you eat a lot, they will cause poisoning. Small amounts will do no harm. Poisonous varieties of mushrooms are well-known toxic plants. Spinach and beet leaves may be responsible for oxalic acid poisoning if eaten in large amounts. Is it? Ocean mussels and clams may contain a poisonous substance in certain seasons of the year. The cabbage family contains goitrogens that can depress the activity of the thyroid gland. Sure. Sometimes we think food is healthy and we eat a lot of spinach, but sometimes that can be bad for one. Okay, so you need to eat food in correct proportion. Okay, now let's look at microorganisms. We have looked at natural decay, and now we are going to look at microorganisms. Okay, that is in page 129. Microorganisms are found everywhere, on your hands, on food, and in water, dust, soil, and the air. Examples of microorganisms are bacteria, molds, and yeast. These are responsible for different kinds of food contamination. All microorganisms need food. All microorganisms need food, moisture, a favorable temperature, and appropriate pH balance to grow and develop. Food is an ideal medium for bacteria to grow and reproduce in, as it provides nutrients and moisture. So now, to prevent microorganisms from multiplying, this is what we need to do. Use high temperatures to destroy microorganisms and enzymes. So we must cook the food. Use low temperatures to control the growth of microorganisms. Store in cool places. Prevent the cross-contamination by when you cook the raw and the dry ingredients, cut them separately. Use preservatives such as sugar, salt, and vinegar to inhibit microbial growth. Okay, so what is cross-contamination? The contamination that occurs when bacteria are transferred intentionally or unintentionally from one surface to another. Aerobic bacteria, please take note, aerobic bacteria, microorganisms that require oxygen for growth. Anaerobic bacteria, microorganisms that do not require oxygen for growth. Okay, We'll look at the table, don't worry. Let's go through bacteria. Bacteria are the most common microorganisms. They can be passed on food from many sources. Dirty hands easily pick up bacteria that can contaminate food. For example, bacteria are transferred to food from your hands after using the toilet. Dangerous bacteria growing in the nose, throat, hair, skin, and nails can also be passed on to food. Equipment is a major source of cross contamination, is it? So, for example, using the same knife to cut raw meat and cooked meat without washing it. Cutting boards and dirty dishcloths are also sources of cross contamination. Bacteria grow and multiply rapidly with enough warmth. 25 to 30% available moisture on food. Okay, bacteria grow and multiply rapidly with enough warmth. 25 to 30% available moisture and food. Some bacteria are aerobic. Okay, they need oxygen to grow. Others are anaerobic and will develop without oxygen, like in packed food. Most bacteria grow best in neutral to slightly acid environment. Did you know that not all microorganisms are harmful? Some are useful in the food industry to produce food such as cheese and yogurt. Now, this is the growth rate of bacteria at different temperatures. Let's look at the diagram now. So at -10 degrees, it's cold. Freezing temperatures stop growth of bacteria but allow bacteria to survive. Do not store food above a -12 degrees Celsius for more than a few weeks. So bacteria growth will stop, but the bacteria will still survive. And then 0 degrees Celsius, slow growth of some bacteria that cause spoilage. 4 degrees Celsius, some growth of food poisoning bacteria may occur. Let me zoom this a little bit. And we are on 20 degrees Celsius. This is a danger zone. Don't store food at 20 degrees Celsius. Food kept for more than 2 hours in this zone are subject to growth, rapid means fast, rapid growth of bacteria and the production of toxin by some bacteria. And 50 degrees Celsius, some bacteria growth, many bacteria survive in here. 63 degrees Celsius, warming temperatures prevent growth but allow survival of bacteria. So bacteria may not grow, but it will still survive at certain temperatures. Cooking temperature, which is 75, destroy most bacteria. Time required to kill the bacteria decrease as the temperature increase. So the more your temperature goes higher, it's the quicker you kill the bacteria. And then 100 degrees Celsius is the canning temperature for fruits, tomatoes, pickles in water bath canner. And 115 degrees Celsius is the canning temperature in pressure canner. Okay, so you know what is the behavior of bacteria in each and every temperature. And 20 degrees Celsius, it is a danger zone. So don't store food at 20 degrees Celsius. As you can see from the figure that we've just gone through, the most favorable temperature for bacterial growth is between 20 to 50 degrees Celsius. Most bacteria are destroyed at around 60 degrees Celsius. Bacteria multiply most rapidly at 37 degrees Celsius. Certain bacteria and bacterial spores are heat resistant and must be heated to temperatures higher than 100 degrees Celsius to be destroyed. Okay, let's check what are bacterial spores. They are reproductive cells of bacteria. Most bacteria stop multiplying at very cold temperatures. They become inactive or dormant until the temperature becomes favorable again. So they just stay there, but they survive. They are not dead. If the temperature picks up again, then they start growing. Okay, and let's look at molds now. Molds are tiny plants that are just visible to the naked eye. So let me see if I've got a picture of molds here. Yes, here is the picture of molds in different food. Okay. Okay, so what are they saying? They're saying molds are tiny plants that are just visible to the naked eye. Mold spores are carried in the air and can settle and grow on food. Molds grow on sweet foods, on protein foods such as meat, cheese, and milk, and on fresh fruit, vegetables, and cereal products. When food is contaminated, the outer part is affected by mold growth. Often, when you cut away the mold part of the food, the rest might look safe to eat. However, it is best to discard moldy food completely, as it may contain mycotoxins. So don't say no, I will cut the spoiled part of the apple and eat the rest, okay? Because it may contain mycotoxins. So what are mycotoxins? They are poison from molds. So be careful, okay? Mycotoxins have moved deeper into the food. They are harmful to many organs of the body. Some mycotoxins, such as aflatoxins, toxins, are regarded as potentially carcinogenic. And carcinogenic, it means that encouraging the growth of cancer in humans. So be careful. If your food has got mold, just discard it or throw it away. Okay, the production of aflatoxins occurs in a wide variety of food, including fresh beef, bacon, milk, nuts, pulses, dried cereals, and raisin. Molds grow well in the following conditions. Moist conditions. So fruits such as lemons and oranges are good growth medium for molds. Okay, so you see in that picture, you'll see oranges. You see they've got molds. Okay, and let's go back to our lesson. Food such as bread and jam and warmth, molds will even grow in the refrigerator, although at a slower rate. So refrigerators not excluded. Acidic conditions prevent mold growth. Cool, dry storage prevent mold growth for a limited period, but mold will eventually grow on certain foods like cheese, even in the refrigerator. Okay, there you've seen. If cheese stays for longer, even in the fridge, it will grow mold. And we look at the last microorganism, which is the yeast. Yeast are microscopic single-celled fungi. They are found in the air, soil, on the surface of fruits. Yeast spoil fruit, fruit juices, jams, canned fruit, and carbohydrate-rich foods. They are sugar or flour in food, or they use sugar or flour in food to produce carbon dioxide and alcohol. This process is known as fermentation. Certain yeast can withstand fairly high acidic, salt, and sugar concentration and can grow without oxygen. So, which means they are anaerobic. Okay. High concentration of salt inhibit the growth of yeast. And favorable conditions for growth and reproduction of yeast include moisture, food, and warmth, which means higher temperatures. They say 25 to 30 degrees Celsius temperature is ideal for yeast growth. A gradual increase in temperature to almost boiling point kills the yeast cells. The cells remain dormant but alive in very cold temperatures. Okay, so we've looked at the three microorganisms, which is bacteria, mold, and yeast. And this will bring us to the end of our lesson today. And next lesson, we are going to continue with pathogenic microorganism. So we've covered natural decay, we've covered microorganisms, okay, and we'll cover pathogenic microorganisms in our next lesson. Okay, thank you.